Hi everyone, my name is Carly Norman and I did my close reading presentation on Starved for Attention. Right here we have the homepage of the website called Starved for Attention, and it was launched by VII photographers and Médecins Sans Frontières, or Doctors Without Borders. So Starved for Attention collects petition signatures for donating countries to stop sending nutritionally insufficient foods to countries that are in need. And like I said, right here we have the homepage. And here we have a flowchart that depicts the website's features and layout, and we have a link to the site right on the bottom. So briefly right here we have Take Action, Events, Campaign, Blog, About, and Press, and those are all different tabs that you can click on the website. Here, as I just showed you, we have the regular website, not just a screenshot, and we can scroll down, as it says on the right-hand side, to watch some of the videos. So there are 8 videos on this website, and they all go over different things. The first one, Why Do We Have to Wait for a Crisis, was about Somalia and Turkana and how they have starving children in their country and starving people, and they're all malnourished, and they really can't get any funding or any proper food supplies because they're not in some kind of crisis right now. They're not in a war, thankfully, and they're not in some kind of crazy genocide or anything like that, so they really can't get the proper funding to be sent food. So the MSF intervened there and tried to do what they could. And this video called Frustration was another instance. This one was in Djibouti, where 70% of the population is jobless there. And it's a little bit different here. The problem isn't availability of food in this place, it's the money. Since people are jobless, they just don't have a way to get money to buy their own food, and the MSF intervened there as well. In Terrifying Normalcy, that took place in Bangladesh, and 60% of the children under 5 are underweight. So that's just a clear statistic that many of these children are malnourished and they're dying because of this. So these parents have no work, so that means they can have no food, and they suffer from monsoons like very often. So that again puts danger and limits on what they can grow and what they can do in this place. And the next video was called The Malnutrition That Shouldn't Be. And this took place in the Congo, and this is a place where crops can grow very rapidly and very good, except there's a war going on in the Congo that's been going on for a very long time, and people just have to pack up and move constantly, kind of like nomads. So they have no place to grow their crops and just no way to get properly nourishing food to their children. So the malnutrition that shouldn't be is in this place. And the next video was a mother's devotion about a mother in Burkina Faso who is trying to do the best that she can to care for her child. And again, the MSF intervenes in all of these situations, but they only do the best that they can. And so it's her story about her and her son going to an outpatient village center that the MSF funds. This video was Invisible in India, where 1/3 of the population of children in India are malnourished. So these parents of these children sell their crops and their nourishing foods to other people in order to make their money. So these children aren't able to get any of that food because their parents wouldn't be able to have any money. And this one was a unique situation from Mexico, a solution from within, where actually all of their pediatricians and all of their doctors in prenatal care are provided by the people of Mexico, and they're doing what they can to help themselves instead of having people intervene. And the last video really brought the whole thing together, which was the US standard and a double standard, showing the poverty in America as well and comparing it to kind of some of the things in other countries. And I'd like to add this quote about McLuhan, where the message of any medium or technology is the change or scale or pace or pattern that it introduces to human affairs. The railway did not introduce movement or transportation or wheel or road into human society, but it accelerated and enlarged the scale of previous human functions, creating totally new kinds of cities and new kinds of work and leisure. And this kind of really depicts McLuhan's thoughts that the medium is the message, but in this case, in the website that I covered, I don't believe that the medium is the message, because this is just such a thought-provoking cause that the message would have been carried out either way. So the content of this piece conveys the starving and malnourished children in foreign countries as well as our own country, and these videos work together to show these visual stories that you can help. The structure of this piece is broken up into the 8 different videos that we briefly went over, and it's a linear, straight path, and the videos can be watched in order, but if they're not watched in order, the message will remain the same. The design of this piece is created through audio and visual representations, and I thought it was very interesting how some of the fast-moving audio, as I'll show you right now, kind of met the fast-moving visuals. I can show you a really quick example of that. And the slow-moving audios met the slow-moving visuals as well, as you'll see in 1 minute. So pay attention to the audio and visual connection.
And so what are they going to do when their cattle are dying or their farms are drying up?
So that showed the audio and visual kind of coming together in the design. And the motives are the same throughout the piece, that children throughout the world are suffering, yet the MSF can help them if we help the MSF. The components of this piece are audio, photography, and videos. And I kind of thought that it was very striking to me that the audio of a child screaming behind a picture created a greater sense of empathy in me than just a video of a child at a doctor's office. And the interactivity was relatively easy for me. You can see this screenshot right here where you can sign the petition, and it's easy to donate to, but you don't have to. And lastly, the subjective response, as I said, it really evoked a sense of sympathy in me for these children, and I was just kind of put off that America can donate these foods to these underprivileged children that are essentially hurting them. So my eyes were really opened to this issue, and I really hope that yours were too. So thank you for listening.